Hi everybody, so today we are talking about the case of Pepita Redhair. I have first heard about this case from the YouTube channel Danielle Hallen. I hear a lot of my cases from her, and I really wanted to talk about Pepita, and she has been on my list for a while to talk about, and I'm finally getting to do that. So that is who we're going to be discussing today. All the links that I have used to research will be down below, like always, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into this because I don't really have much of an intro for you, but Pepita Madeline Redhair was born in Gallup, New Mexico, and she was a proud member of the Navajo Nation. And she would eventually leave her small town of Crown Point for the city of Albuquerque, where she would pursue her dreams. Pepita has always had a lively spirit. She was a talented artist and social butterfly. She easily charmed the people around her. She enjoyed life in general. And in her photos, you can just see like the way she smiles. She has like one of the prettiest smiles. She seems so alive and so happy. And I don't know, there's just something about her. Like she just has this good energy about her just from photos. After graduating high school, she would go to Albuquerque and she began to work at Hot Topic while she studied at the University of New Mexico. There she met Nicholas Kay, a man who she would love deeply, but she would also have a very tumultuous relationship with. There were instances of domestic violence, and her family became concerned, and they really wanted her to leave. They would beg her. They would literally beg her to leave, but Pepito was just so hopeful that she and Nicholas could make it work. Like, she just loved him so much that she was just hoping that it wasn't going to be like that forever. And that is just so heartbreaking that she even had to go through that, and she even thought that she should. Pepita was always in contact with her mom, Anita, and Anita says her daughter would not leave or would not have ran away without reaching out to her. On March 24th, 2020, Pepita left her mom's home in Crown Point to visit Nicholas in Albuquerque, and later that afternoon, Pepita and Anita met at a local McDonald's to have lunch together. After that, Anita dropped her daughter off at Nicholas's house, and that was the last time she would see Pepita. According to Nicholas, the two of them went out drinking on the evening of March 26, 2020, and at some point they met up with another man whose identity has not yet been released. Nicholas and Pepita got into an argument at the party that they were attending, and he claims that the last time he saw her is when she walked out of the house they were drinking at in Northeast Albuquerque. He also says that she texted him the next day to tell him that she was with another man, and he believes it was the same man from the party. This will be the last time uh, anyone else was in contact with her. So Anita would try to contact her daughter several times via text and phone calls, but she received no response. She even called Nick and asked him to put her in touch with Pepita, but he said that she'd left and he didn't know where she was. Anita's panic would grow and grow and grow, and on March 27th, she contacted the Albuquerque Police Department. Initially, the police brushed her off and said it was legal for adults to go missing. That's when the family knew that they were basically going to be on their own. So the family posted flyers around the neighborhood, or a neighborhood area where she was known to spend her time, and asked if anyone had seen her. This was in the middle of the pandemic, and Albuquerque Police Department used this as an excuse as to why they couldn't investigate the case or conduct in-person interviews. So they used COVID as an excuse to not be able to do anything. Oh no, people are getting sick, I can't do my job. Okay, sir. Anita called the Navajo Nation police to see if they could help, but Albuquerque was outside their jurisdiction. Pepita's sister, Shelda, asked local news channels to broadcast her sister's photo, but they wouldn't. Shelda even drove to where Nicholas lived and sat at the gate, yelling for Pepita or Nick to come out, but nothing happened. On March 30th, Anita received a text from Pepita's cell phone. The person who sent the text explained that they had purchased the cell phone from someone, indicating her phone had been stolen. Nicholas finally reported her missing on April 19th. APD made a statement and acknowledged a domestic violence history with a boyfriend and said that they were checking into it and claimed that they were still following up on leads. In October 2021, Anita and some friends and family held a rally in Albuquerque to raise awareness for her and another person in 2022. And when I Googled this case and I was looking at photos, they have done so many rallies for people. They're just really out there on the street, just raising awareness, saying these people's names, and I think that's fantastic. It's just sad that they have to be the ones to do it and not the police. Like, the police, like, brushed her off. She's an adult. She can go missing. No, actually, we can't do anything because it's COVID. And then we're still following up on leads. So it's like they're just changing their story when they're being caught not doing anything, which is not unusual with police, unfortunately. Unfortunately, Pepita is still missing, and her case has been labeled as cold. I've seen several articles say that her family fears that she is a victim of human trafficking, although I couldn't find anything else on that theory. So, like, there's a lot of articles saying, like, they're afraid she's a victim of trafficking, but I could not find, like, any of her family actually saying that. Just articles saying that her family's saying that, you know. Maybe I just didn't dig deep enough, but I personally could not find anything else about it, or, like, even why that is a theory, you know. So I'm not sure why. So I do have a description of Pepita. She would now be 27 years old. She is indigenous. She is a Navajo Nation, as I stated. With brown hair and brown eyes. She's 5'1" and 141 pounds. She has two moles on her chin and a scar on her left eyebrow. She has tattoos. That she has a moon with lightning on her left leg, a butterfly on her shoulder, a dinosaur on her right forearm, the word Redhair somewhere on her body, and a koi fish on her left forearm. And to end this off, I actually have a quote from Anita from an article I saw, and Anita says, "All we want for my family, for my daughter, we want closure," end quote. I have a phone number for anyone who knows anything about Anita or Pepita. The day she went missing, if you've seen her, if you've heard anything that could be of help, you are urged to contact the Albuquerque Police Department at 505-242-2677. And there's also the New Mexico Department of Public Safety, the Missing Persons Hotline, which is 800-457-3463. Again, the APD phone number is 505-242-2677, and the Missing Persons Hotline for the Department of Public Safety, New Mexico, is 800-457-3463. And I also want to include in this video the mention of MMIW, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, because that is an epidemic. The statistics is that Indigenous women are some of the highest numbers of missing people, or missing women in general. And these are cases that are very obviously suspicious, homicides, missing people in general, and they're not getting attention at all, whatsoever. They are being brushed off by police in every possible way. Like, it is very, very bad. Like, a lot of people will say, like, I've never heard of this case, because news channels, police, they will just brush off Indigenous people's cases, and, like, it's horrific. So MMIW focuses on putting light on Indigenous peoples, Indigenous women. So I highly suggest you look into MMIW. I'm sorry, I cannot enunciate. MMIW. And do some research on it. You'll be able to understand a lot better than I can explain it to you. If you would like a video just dedicated to what MMIW is, I am more than happy to do that. I try to, whenever I do a case about an Indigenous person, I try to mention MMIW, because I know a lot of people, they don't know what it is. They've never heard of it, because they don't realize just like how bad the situation really is for Indigenous people across Canada and the United States. So I highly encourage you to go do your own research on that. But if you would like a video about the situation in general, I'd be happy to do a more in-depth one for you guys. But that is all I have for you on the case of Pepita Redhair. Thank you so much for listening to her story. Please let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think happened? Do you think it was human trafficking? Like I said, I couldn't really find much onto why that theory is, unless just the fact that human trafficking is like really, really bad. But I think that Nicholas was being a little weird. Like, it hit the situation he put forth. Yeah, it could have happened, but you know, she stayed in this relationship, this abusive at times relationship, because she had hoped to make it work, and then suddenly she just leaves him. I mean, she 100% could have. She could have just, like, you know, like, I'm done, I'm leaving, and I went with this man, and that man could have done something. That man could have, you know, sold her into trafficking. Maybe that's where that theory comes from. But I don't know. There's something about Nicholas' story that just doesn't sit right with me. Because he clearly has no qualms about harming his girlfriend. So it just feels like maybe he took it too far and he did something to her. But I am not accusing him of anything because we don't have any answer. So this is all just, in my opinion, allegedly. But let me know what you guys think down below. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye, guys.